Welcome to the video review of Beast Wars PolarClaw. PolarClaw here is an overweight, raging murder beast, devoid of any discernible trace of soul or useful limb articulation. It must be noted that he's very dedicated to becoming the world's fattest polar bear, being that his robot arms become the beast's paunch. The robot colors chosen to go with this supposed to be completely white polar bear are distracting at best. And working with this cumbersome body only helps to destroy the illusion. But that doesn't stop me from loving him. The bear parts that aren't crap are actually pretty good. Although his head looks a lot less like a polar bear and more like a chow. The fur looks really good. It's not just lines in the plastic. There are actually areas where the fur pushes up against itself and creates these neat seams. His bio paints the picture of a peacekeeping but nonetheless violent drill sergeant, while his eyes tell the tale of an older evil. Now blank and filmed over after years of atrocities too inconceivable and horrendous to repress, as his mind slowly is chipped away piece by piece by the nightmares that lurk every hour and every minute and every second of every day the sun manages to rise itself from the darkness in all of our hearts. The unfortunate placement of this panel line on his head leads me to believe that he had a run-in with Hannibal Lecter. The mechanisms in this thing's legs make it a nightmare to stand. Not that he doesn't have a low center of gravity, but the front legs have a tendency to fall or fly apart because of the stupid gimmicks. He features some of the best opening beast jaws of the line, but also seems to have the worst case of gingivitis in the history of teeth. And while it may be impossible to ignore the fact that this thing is a horrid piece of crap with a lousy color scheme and terrible design, you simply have to awe in the face of this thing's sheer ferocity. This mode is far from a win, but the bulky brutality and the novelty of its design make it very fun. I wouldn't have picked him up if I'd seen him on store shelves, but having him is definitely a riot. This mode is where the amorphously obese cuddle bear disappears, and the apathetic drill sergeant cruelly comes to light. It definitely is a strange one, and it doesn't help that it looks like he's wearing bear skin capris. I have to note that in order to get the toes to face down like this, I had to file down some of the stopping points in the plastic. Along with the beast ears adorning the collar behind his head, I've realized that this is not a robot that transforms into a polar bear, this is a robot wearing a polar bear. Also, his 12-pack flap here likes to fall open, confirming that he uses every part of his kill. As a part of the first year of Beast Wars, PolarClaw has a battle mask. And a regular face, which is best left forgotten. Unless you're in the mood to put him in the legendary Oompa Loompa fan mode. The dental decay from beast mode ends up transferring to this mode due to lack of paint apps, and I'm beginning to attribute his berserker personality to a series of particularly nasty toothaches. The mutant face is much better, even though I think he stole it from Warpath. Is that 2 kills to make up this mode? PolarClaw is the Maximal's answer to the Predacon Scorponok, and as such, he has a befuddling array of gimmicks. Already mentioned before was the Beast Mode Bite Attack, which was actually pretty cool. This mode features a launching Bat Scout that has a tendency of launching itself. And now that I want it to launch, it won't fire. The Bat Scout makes up the right front leg, and as I said before, it has a tendency of flying out when you don't want it to. With Scorponok, it kind of made sense. I know usually bees and scorpions aren't down to clown, but at least they're both creepy crawlies that live in similar climates. But with this guy, a bat? Are there snow bats? And what's he supposed to do if his bat buddy's out flying around and Energon Surge happens? Turn into a 3-legged polar bear? Then there's the other polar bear leg-based gimmick, which involves exploding part of the beast's skeleton forward, blasting through the skin, and hopefully hitting a target. It seems like a lot of suffering for such a short-range attack, but I think Commander Killbear here might enjoy the pain. He has a decided disadvantage in the Beast Wars, being that they didn't arm him with any long-range attacks. This is before Beast Machines, you know, when the good guys weren't supposed to have any guns. Could have just had a deployable cannon there. You can take the Cyberbat, and if you're clever, you can rubber band the wings shut, and it makes a sort of gun/ass blaster. Sure, it doesn't look great, and it's got fur on it, but come on, it's the Beast Wars. It wouldn't be right if there weren't furry guns. With the Bat Scout deployed, you're left with this stump of a bear leg and what appears to be bone jutting out of it. If you pretend really hard, it can be a shoulder-mounted cannon, but just barely. While the beast leg gimmicks are terrible, I'm just glad they didn't become the robot arms. His limbs come off as a little too short for this stocky dumpster of a body, but the arms definitely get it the worst. While typically I wouldn't approve, I actually kind of like these arm flaps, simply because they remind me some of the chromed inner kibble panels from the cartoon. Alright, there's no universe in which this color scheme isn't explosively repulsive. The dramatically pure and bold hues of such opposite-end colors, with 0 paint apps, make this figure one hell of an eyesore. A few simple washes would probably fix this, so don't bother buying this figure unless you're prepared to custom, which I plan to do. Even though the presentation of the colors is awful, you kinda have to admire the concept of an albino Slaughterborg adorning off black and blood crimson. Of his 3 heads, this guy sports all of the evil eye colors I can think of right now. Despite the bloodthirsty nature this figure seems to give off, he seems strangely akin to Rhinox.
Let me tell you about my best friend.
No, he's not a great figure. No, he doesn't look amazing. And while he's not on my A-list and I can't personally recommend him, he's definitely a fun figure to have, and I'm glad to have him in my collection. This has been the video review for Beast Wars PolarClaw, and thank you for watching.